In death, there are no accidents, no coincidences, no mishaps, and no escapes. Tony Todd was truly made for the horror genre. I'm John Renton with the retro review of Final Destination 1. Longtime subscribers / viewers of the channel will remember that back in 2020, especially once the pandemic hit, I said, fuck it, I've got time on my hands. I'm going to increase the amount of content I do tenfold. And I decided to just review a bunch of movies. My God, I reviewed so many movies. 138 movies that were released that year and a bunch of retro reviews. And it was a lot of fun. And I decided to kind of change things up and basically compile some franchises, Human Centipede them together into one video. I did that with the 3 Urban Legend movies, the 3 I Know What You Did Last Summer movies. You would be remiss if you actually forgot they did a 3rd I Know What You Did Last Summer movie. It was dog shit, but I also did the 5 Final Destination movies. They're coming up with a 6th Final Destination movie. Christ knows why, because the last 2 weren't all that good, especially the 4th one. The 4th one was a real low point, but because I do happen to love the Final Destination franchise for good, bad, and indifferent, and I even decided to get this for a pretty cheap price. I really love the death scenes, and I just love revisiting to see how well they've held up. The first one has characters that happen to get caught in death's design, and there's actually a bit of a story here. By the 3rd one, it just got to the point where it was like, okay, we're just having the death scenes override the fact that we have any characters here, and then it just got really goddamn messy, and I don't know why they're doing a 6th one, but I'm guessing money, so nevertheless, why not revisit Final Destination 1 from 2000? Devon Sawa, Ali Larter, Sean William Scott actually having a somewhat serious role here. I know, a bit shocking that. Kerr Smith, back when he had a career. I don't think he's really been doing all that much besides one of those Chicago shows. It's either Chicago Fire, Chicago PD, Chicago in Space. I don't really know how many more Chicago spin-offs they need to do. Tony Todd was in this. I love Tony Todd. He's great in Candyman, great in this series, and he was great in The Rock. I need to retro review The Rock. Not Rock the Dwayne Johnson, but the action movie from Michael Bay, back when Michael Bay actually cared about making movies that didn't just revolve around explosions. He actually cared about putting together a good cast and actually letting them somewhat act, even if it was over the top. But this was directed by James Wong, not Wan, not the guy that did the Conjuring movie and The Conjuring 2, Electric Boogaloo, and Aquaman. This is James Wong, W-O-N-G. He did The One with Jet Li. Boy, that was shit. Final Destination 3 and Dragon Ball Evolution. And that pretty much torpedoed the rest of his filmmaking career. He's done a few things since then, but Dragon Ball Evolution was fucking awful. Glenn Morgan wrote this. Boy, the way Glenn Morgan writes. He did The One, he did Willard, the remake of Willard, Final Destination 3, and Black Christmas 2006. Not Black Christmas 2019, which was fucking rotten. But, yeah, Ali Larter. I still would, and you still would too. She looks great here. She looks great now. Basically, if you're unfamiliar with the Final Destination franchise, well, get off your ass, go watch them on HBO Max if you have HBO Max, as all 5 movies. Just make sure to watch them in the order of Final Destination 2, 3, The Final Destination, then Final Destination 5. They kind of ran out of steam by the point when they were doing the Final Destination. Like, that's it. Oh, wait, we need to do a 5th one, even though we really have wrung as much blood out of this turnip by pretty much the end of the 2nd one. Nevertheless, the idea is there's a big event, some grandiose accident, death scene sequence that happens in the beginning, and then people that survive that are besieged by death as part of death's design because they are going to die in the order they were supposed to die in that particular accident. In this case, there are a bunch of students going on a trip to France to celebrate graduation, seemingly. And what happens is a deadly plane crash occurs, and then the few remaining survivors are targeted by death because death is like, you're not escaping me, ha 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 ha. And then death comes after them and contrived in silly ways. But again, this movie actually has some decent writing and some pretty good acting. Devon Sawa is quite good. I always feel he's a little bit underappreciated. Ali Larter, who, again, is just fucking beautiful, but also a very good actress. And Tony Todd. How could you not love Tony Todd just being full-on goddamn creepy? So, it launched a franchise that ultimately petered out. And one of the opening lines from the movie is, "Live it up, Alex. You got your whole life ahead of you." About that. And there are various signs he's having visions. He's kind of panicked going on this trip, which, yes, I mean, going across the Atlantic would be going on a plane in general would be a bit jarring, especially going across the ocean. What the fuck? If something happens, you're pretty much screwed. You're going to end up like JFK Jr. Moving on from that. The John Denver song, Rocky Mountain High. And if you know anything about John Denver, you know how he met his fate. So that's how, they had the funny tie and a little bit of snarky comedy. His visions show the plane's going to explode in very, very silly ways. People get sent out the goddamn side and a fire, hits. Fire, ha ha ha. Anyway, moving on from that. Check out Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe, by the way, on Paramount Plus. That's really goddamn good. But he says the plane is going to explode. This is pre 9/11. Could you imagine if they had done this after 9/11, how much more that would have hit? I mean, it still hits now, just like, oof, God, oh boy, lad, careful. And Kerr Smith was a great dick in this. He plays Carter. He's kind of the bully and everything. He's got his girlfriend Tiffany, played by Amanda Detmer. And then there's the teacher, Kristen Cloke, however the hell you say it, and Sean William Scott's character. Billy was there. Oh, Billy. Good old Cable Guy flashback. Cable Guy wasn't very fucking good. You can fight me in the comments. That's just my opinion. And oh no, the plane's going to explode. And then the plane explodes. And then the interrogations lasted well into the next day. Where the police are trying to figure out, like, well, Alex, you knew the plane was going to explode. We don't think you did it, but you seem to know that the plane was going to explode. Did you have somebody else do it? Like, what the hell is going on? The parents are freaked out. Other students are freaked out. The teacher doesn't even want to talk to Alex. Over a month later, we have a wake for the students. And then people start getting killed off in weird ways. Alex gets spooked by an owl, and he tosses a newspaper, and the newspaper hits the fan, and the only lettering from it that remains is the cutout word of Todd, his friend. His friend that he hasn't been able to talk to that much because his dad doesn't want him around because his dad was a little bit creeped out. Don't blame him. Well, Todd ends up shaving, doing a bad shave job because he had no fucking growth at all. Weird soapy liquid leaks out of somewhere because Death apparently just decided to keep pumping the goddamn thing, or using an automated soap dispenser that they apparently had in 2000 to just let the thing float around it. You're gonna hang from the shower. And Todd pulls a David Carradine, getting roped into that. But he's trying to claw the thing and he can. His eyes get all bloodshot and he dies. And also there's a soapy discharge in the bathtub. If you have a soapy discharge, consult your doctor immediately. So Alex saw the signs. They opened up his eyes. He saw the sign. I wrote down, Jesus Christ, Ally Larder was hot back then and still is now. And she felt what he felt. Never mind. And she clearly likes him, and her name is Clear River, so she clearly likes him. Yes, bad puns, I admit. And they sneak into the morgue to see Todd's dead body, because it's like, oh, look, he looks like such a Todd, or a Chad, or whatever the cliche is. And then Tony Todd's lone goddamn scene that he chews the fuck out of. He's practically chewing through walls here, but he's having fun. It's like, careful, you'll wake the dead. And then Death, there are no accidents, no coincidences, no mishaps, no escapes. It's all part of Death's design. And we can't escape Death's design. It's all set up for us to die at a particular point. If we cheat it, then Death will come after us. And Devon Sawa's character basically ends up saying, Alex basically ends up saying, well, if you find a way to beat it, you can cheat Death. Well, if you think you can, you already did that when you walked off the plane. And Death has a new design for all of you. And just play your hunch, Alex, if you think that you can do it, if you think you can get away with it. But remember, there is the risk of cheating the design, of, disrespecting the design. You can piss off the Grim Reaper, and even you don't want to fuck with that Mac Daddy. Again, chewing through the goddamn scenery. And then he's like, hey, Alex, I'll see you soon. And he actually does, because, spoiler, sorry, the movie's been out for 22 fucking years. Alex does not make it to the second movie. He makes it through this, but he doesn't make it to the second movie. They talk about Death's design, him and Clear. And then Tiffany Terry, rather. I'm sorry. I'm getting all these names mixed up. Terry and Carter show up. Terry and Carter, it just sounds like a bad version of Get Carter. They show up, and Terry's upset, and she says, well, you just want to keep picking on Alex and fighting him every time you see him. You can just drop dead steps right in front of a bus. Great goddamn scene. Blood splatters all over everybody. It's fucking great. Goddamn, I love this movie. It's funny to me. It shouldn't be funny, but it's funny to me. And then the teacher's freaked out. The teacher's gonna move, and Alex is being kind of suspicious, checking her car, making sure she's okay. He gets arrested. And Valerie, she decides to drink, but she drinks from a cracked mug. The water gets into her computer monitor, and because teachers fail to monitor the situation properly, that late 90s, early 2000s computer technology, man, we thought that was going to be the goddamn peak of it. And then the computer monitor explodes. She gets glass in her neck. She's stumbling around like crazy. Fire catches on this a spark catches fire to this alcohol, or causes this alcohol to catch fire. And then she's on the ground. Everything's on fire. Like, literally everything's on fire. I think everything in the next county's on fire by this point, because that alcohol just went up like a pile of dried leaves. And then she tries to pull this towel down for her neck, because she's laying on the ground, and knives come down, and one hits her in the chest. And then Alex tries to save her, but his footprints are all over, his hands are on the knife, and he runs out, and the house explodes. And Billy sees this. And it's just fucking hilarious. Just absolutely fucking hilarious. This is like, we got about now 40 minutes left of the goddamn movie. This is after the police had investigated and interrogated Alex, but let him go because they didn't have anything on him. And then this happens. So now he's all freaked out. Claire, wants to help him. She gets Alex, she tries to get to Alex, gets Carter, and she gets Carter. Boy, that's an old movie. Gets him and Billy to go with her, because they're the only ones living. And Carter kind of freaks out, because it's like, wait a second, you said I'm next, so I'm just going to drive in this car, ignoring the fact I have other people and I'd be responsible for their death. Well, that didn't necessarily work. They end up on the railroad tracks. Alex keeps having these visions. He has this vision of the belt ripping. The belt rips. He saves Carter, and then there's this piece of metal underneath the train, and Sean William Scott's freaking out. Oh no, I'm gonna get the fuck away from you. And then the metal comes out, and Stifler lost his head right there. And then, because the FBI is still looking for Alex, Claire says, hey, my dad has an old cabin. Go stay there. He tries to death proof it. Nearly gets stabbed with something, and then there's a bunch of fish hooks that are rusty. I can't beat you forever, but I can beat you here. Clearly going absolutely insane. And then he has a vision that Claire is in trouble, because she does welding work. And she ends up having to rescue her dog that nearly dies. The dog smartly runs away. Hopefully the dog is all right. And a live wire comes down, not the Batman Beyond villain. Batman Beyond fans are just exploding with laughter and everything upon hearing that. And then this pool bursts, so there's water's getting around the electricity, and the house catches fire because death is bound determined to defy physics and everything, and just explode everything. This live wires across her goddamn car hood, because she tries to get out of the garage, but the garage thing catches through the window and it's stuck. And Alex is like, I'll get rid of the live wire, and then you'll be safe. It'll go to me. It'll skip you, and it'll go to me. Well, he gets shocked. He gets pushed back. He's fine, seemingly, even though the FBI sees this. They're like, okay, you're free to go because you saved her, and we really can't prove this. And then him, Claire, and Carter are in France 6 months later. And then he says, something about Death's design, and they want him to let it go. But he's like, no, think about it. It skipped me and this kind of stuff. Well, what the hell? The only 3 of us are left. Look, this is where we were supposed to be. It should all have worked out. And it did work out. Until something weird happened. Alex almost got hit by a bus. This, it ended up hitting this, light pole or something. The light pole went up and tore the sign down. The sign fell down, swung, and Carter got Alex out of the way. But then he said, well, wait a second. If you save me, then it skipped me. Well, who's next? And then the sign comes to Carter, and then we fade to black. And that's it. That is the end of Final Destination. That's the end of the lone good movie out of the franchise. Because my oh my, does it become really, really dodgy after this. Am I going to review all of them? Obviously, I just told you I was. But you know what? It's fun to flesh out these reviews. Let me know your thoughts on Final Destination in the comments, please. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.